Welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs. I'm Jonathan Friedman, and our next guest up is David Gabor, a partner with Wagner Law Group. Welcome, David.
Welcome. Good morning, Jonathan. How are you?
Let's talk about, you touched on sexual harassment, and I know that there's been some new developments, and obviously it's been quite topical over the last couple of years, sexual harassment in the workforce and in general. Can you talk to us a little bit about new developments regarding laws around sexual harassment?
Sure. We've all heard about the hashtag #MeToo, and I think every week there are things that are coming out, news stories, disturbing stories, and what's happened is laws at the state level, for example, in New York and New York City, they've got new laws that require companies to have training of their employees. So New York City also says the training must be interactive. So it's not just sit through and watch a 30-minute piece on the computer. You actually have to have an interactive program. The programs also have to be programs that are for interns as well as employees. So that's become the law in several states. Once it's the law in one state or a second state, it becomes a best practice across the country. So it's not enough just to have an employee manual. Now you've got to actually have the training of the employees. In New York City, you also have to have a separate program for the supervisors and managers. Much like I was talking about with the accommodation issue, train the managers and supervisors in how to respond if a person comes to them.
How do employers, somehow get employees to come forth? And I'd imagine it's in a proactive basis, because if you don't report it, there's nothing you can do about it. If you do report it, then you can take the steps to try and mitigate the situation and address it.
The first is trying to build trust. If the CEO or president comes to a program and tells the employees, we're doing the program because we want this to be a great place to work, and we want you to feel comfortable coming forward if something happens to you. If the message is that kind of message, an employee is more likely to come forward. If the message is check the box, they're less likely to come forward. The second is some companies are creating programs or mechanisms where a person can complain and be anonymous. If they can bring their issue to the attention of the company without having to give their name, they may be more likely to come forward. But really it comes down to trust.
So again, building that open culture where I feel like employees can approach leadership and approach the appropriate parties and let them know what's going on so that they can take action.
But also getting the employee to believe that the company wants to hear from them. So every opportunity the employer has to build trust by its actions will build a better relationship between management and employees. And I think another part of that is to teach a culture of respect. I can't create a program that's going to make you like me. There's no law, there's no judge who's going to say like somebody. So for example, if a person comes into work, and whether they're male or female, older or younger, whatever the religion of that person, we can't teach people to not care about that, but we can teach people to recognize and embrace differences. And I think that's where we can make a lot of headway. And that it becomes a big part of the training that you do on an interactive basis and on an annual basis. It's not a one and done.